Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. We appreciate you making this a part of your weekly routine. Our show is brought to you each week by our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. They can also haul rock and sand. They do driveway work and can now do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is the proud premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Hey, thank you, Thurston. Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Estes, and we want to thank you for helping us to reach an average of 3,000 viewers per week over the last quarter of 2024. Let's keep that going in 2025. We are available on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and several other social media platforms. Remember to like and share this video with your friends. And if you're watching today on the YouTube platform, please hit the subscribe button and help us reach the 1,000 subscriber mark. Our guest today is Paul Blanchard. Paul is the district manager for Alpha Insurance, who has recently become the premier sponsor of the Georgia High School Association State Football Championships that was recently held in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Paul, you and I have been friends for many years, and man, it was really neat to see you on GPB and to watch you represent Alpha at the sports championships, presenting those trophies, and recently got to see the interview that you had there at halftime. Man, that had to be a thrill for you.
And it was, Tim. Alpha's been involved with GHSA. This is our second year being involved with them, and last year being the first year, we really weren't sure, what all we were getting into, and it was fun. But this year, we were able to put a little more planning into it. Having the opportunity to be at the Dome for 3 days, for all 3 days of the state championship games, having our agents up supporting their schools, it was a ton of fun, and it was amazing just how many people watched those games and watched the trophy presentations and watched the interview in between games. So it was a lot of fun. We're extremely excited to be involved with GHSA. And it's not only with football. GHSA is involved with everything that goes on in high schools. Not quite as big of a stage, but we'll be at the wrestling state championships. We're at the basketball state championships. They even do like spelling bee state championships. So there's a little something for everybody. Obviously, football is the biggest stage, but extremely excited to be a part of it, and glad to be on those stages and at the Dome when all of it was going on.
Paul, this partnership that Alpha has developed with Georgia High School Association is something that when I think about it, I certainly think about all the different corners of the state of Georgia. And you guys are getting your name out there to really people all over the state, whether that's in an urban area or a very rural area. Everybody watches these state championships. When you look at that, tell us a little bit about why Alpha sees this as an investment and maybe how it's beneficial to those agents in those areas as well as the company as a whole.
Yeah, so Alpha is really big in Alabama. We're a regional company. We're in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Those are our three core states. And mostly everybody in Alabama knows who Alpha is. We've been in Georgia for over 30 years, and our footprint just hasn't been that big. So if there's an Alpha agent in the area that you live, you probably know about Alpha. But if it's outside of an area where we have an agent, most people just haven't heard about Alpha yet. So this has given us, just a great opportunity, like you said, to be in every corner of the state and every TV that's in the state watching these games. Our agents that are in other parts of the state that get involved have the GHSA banner on either behind them or on their footballs when they're doing like the player of the week. It's been a great opportunity. Alpha, part of our culture is our core four. And we talked about it a little bit on the interview in between games, but Alpha, we came up with our core four a couple of years ago, and it was determined by the employees at Alpha, not by a consulting firm, not by the top management, but everybody took a survey and voted on what are the four things that are most important to you. And it came back as faith first, family second, community third, and integrity last. And everything we do, we try to stand by that. And there's places in the state where that don't know Alpha, so we want to make sure that when they see us on TV or they see us at a football game, and if they go and look into Alpha, they realize that they're dealing with a company that first believes in faith. Everything we do is revolved around faith. Our meetings start with prayer, which is uncommon in the corporate world.
Right.
We believe in family and community, and being a part of GHSA gets us involved in so many different communities. That's just great, great advertising, and it's great for us to be involved. GHSA does, we do like offensive line of the week every week. We do defense of the week, player of the week, team of the week. So not only are we there for the state championship games, but we're there all throughout the season, recognizing these coaches and these players.
Paul, I think I've mentioned this to you before. I'm very familiar with Alpha. Being in college in Montgomery, Alabama, got familiar with Alpha over there. My brother and sister-in-law, Steve and Sandy Houston, have spent their entire professional career with Alpha there at the Montgomery headquarters. And so definitely a good company that I've been familiar with. And I would encourage our viewers today, if you're not familiar with Alpha Insurance, make sure and reach out to your local agent, a very good company. We are talking with Paul Blanchard, the district manager for Alpha Insurance today. Our show is brought to you each week by several sponsors. One of those is One Digital Solutions. They are a steward for business growth and personal development. They provide a tech-enabled solution that provides a contemporary work-life balance. They do that in areas such as human resource management, employee benefits, and financial services. They really are everything all in one. It's One Digital. Give Will Peterson a call today. His number is 229-347-6289, and let One Digital begin helping you today. Paul, I want to switch gears a little bit. We've started talking about your professional career, but you are a husband, a father, and with my connection in the past, you've been a youth sports coach through the Sumter County Parks and Recreation Department. And I look at your family now, and you've got your oldest son that's now playing varsity sports up at Sly County High School. Your middle son is in middle school. And then the baby's still over in our realm of the woods in Parks and Recreation. I want you to wear both hats if you can here, both from Alpha and a father's perspective. You're heavily involved in supporting GHSA through your business, but at the same time, you've been ultra involved in your kids' lives through rec sports. Give me your perspective on the importance of representing your community in both rec and high school.
Yeah, great question. Our days at rec started a long time ago. Sterling is 16. I think our first experience at the rec department was T-ball. Registered him, signed him up. We were new to town. We didn't know too many people here yet. And I thought, probably like a lot of dads, when they signed him up for T-ball, that I was going to sign him up and then just sit in the stands and watch. And found out real quick that we needed coaches. And I really had no intentions of ever coaching rec sports or anything like that. That wasn't anything that I had thought of before. And here we are 10 years later. I think I've coached basketball, football, baseball, and soccer. A lot of sports that I never even played. So, but it's been great being involved in the rec department as much as we have. Just the people that we've met, the kids that we've met, the parents that we've met, people that we've formed relationships with now that, guys that I didn't know before that I've coached with for years now, guys that we're talking about rec sports when it's not a particular season, just what we're looking forward to and stuff like that. Rec sports is, it's helped me a lot grow as a person. Early on, Sterling, 8-9 years old, I'm out there coaching, and probably a little hard on him, if you know what I mean. He's my oldest son, the first time doing it. And if a mistake was made, and they're going to be made, they're 8-9 years old, a ball rolls through his leg, I would come unglued. It was like that was life. And he made his way through rec and has done well. Christian went through, and that was a little bit different. I was a little bit more relaxed. He was able to be on 2 state championship teams, and was able to sit back and watch some of that. And now with Walker going through the baby, it's so funny. I will get out there. It's probably a little bit more enjoyable than it was with Sterling, because I know this. These are kids. They're out there learning, and they want to have fun, and they don't need the ride home to be questioned on why they missed a fly ball or something like that. So the rec department not only has helped the kids grow, but I think it helps the dads and the coaches and the moms grow as well as they progress through. And but it's been great. And then to sit back and watch as the kids get into middle school and you're completely hands off, and into high school, and see how well they do and how well they work with the other teams, how well they work with their other teammates, and how well they work with the coaches. It's just the rec department's just been a blessing to our family for sure.
Paul, I remember 2 times with you that I think have kind of come full circle. The first one I'll mention was when Sterling was very young. I don't remember if he was 7 or 8, but he was playing quarterback in football. You were a little nervous because football at the rec level where we play is really competitive, very good, a high level of play. I don't want to say scared, but you were very nervous or anxious a little bit. And we had a conversation on the sideline one night, and I said, Paul, if you'll just let him go through this, by the time he gets to high school, he's going to be a lot more prepared than these guys that just don't play. Watching Sterling at Sly County now and seeing the toughness he's had, the way he's gotten in the weight room and built his body, I think definitely being a part of that rec football program helped him at a very young age to get to where he is now. Probably my most enjoyable time I can remember with you was in Statesboro, Georgia, at the GRPA State Baseball Championships, when Christian was a part of that state championship team. And we knew we were good going over there, but we also knew those final 4 teams, anybody could win. And seeing the joy on those kids' faces and the parents' faces and grandparents, that was a really enjoyable time. I think all of those will be times that you and your family will remember for a long, long time.
That is 100% accurate. We'll start with Sterling playing rec football. I've got pictures saved on my phone that I go back and look at all the time of him at 9 years old or 8 years old, either handing the ball off or throwing the ball. One of my favorite pictures of him is he's walking off the field and in his uniform. He's got white pants on and he's got blood down both sides of his pants, and he's walking off with his helmet in his hand. And it was after a game we had just won. Those starting off with your kid having never played football before and shows up to practice, and one of the coaches, first thing he says is, "Does your son play baseball?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "All right, well, who's going to be our quarterback?" And I was like, whoa. But yeah, so it turned out to be great. Sterling's made a lot of friends that we still see all the time. They went to separate high schools and separate middle schools, but they're still very much a part of our family. And football with the Sumter Rec Department was instrumental for his development, over the years. And then with Christian playing on 2 teams that went to state and won those state tournaments, unbelievable. The group of kids that he went through with the first time was pretty much the same group that he went with the second time. And we formed a lot of friendships at those games when you're spending a week away and 2 weeks away, and you're 1 game away from getting knocked out and the emotions are high. It was every bit of it was just it's amazing. Christian still loves talking about his days when he was, and especially in the 12U when he was pitching. Got to pitch in the last game, and just great memories for him. Great memories for Shannon and I, and hopefully Walker's 9 years old. Hopefully he'll get to experience part of that as well.
Absolutely. Hey, Paul, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, I saw a post on Facebook a couple of days ago where you're opening a couple of new Alpha Insurance places. I know one's in Columbus, and what caught my eye was one of those new agents is Chase Patrick. He is a Sly County graduate, had a great baseball career there, went on to play at Mississippi State, won a World Series championship there at Mississippi State. And it kind of got me to thinking, when you're looking at trying to help people advance into business or people that may want to become new alpha agents, Does the fact that they were athletes either at the high school or college level, does that play a part into your evaluation process when you're looking at a new agent?
Yeah, of course. So when I ended the year in 2024, just a couple of days ago, I had 21 agents that were on my team that we worked with. And as of today, now we're at 25 agents. We brought 4 on, 3 going into Columbus, and then a new agent here in Americus. So probably half of the agents that I've got played at least some sort of sport in high school, and many of them played at the collegiate level. Chase being very successful at Mississippi State. I've got Nate Gaiman, who's down in Albany. A lot of people here know he played at GSW, played golf at GSW, and then went on to, win Georgia Mid-Am a couple times and play in the U.S. Amateur. I've got agents in Warner Robins that pitched at the collegiate level for different schools. So, yeah, when I'm interviewing somebody, one of the questions I ask is, did you play sports, not just high school sports, but did you play as a kid in the rec department, or did you play in middle school? And what was your favorite sport? What was your favorite thing about that sport? What did you learn in that sport? And I think there's definitely some advantages for somebody that's played high school sports, especially collegiate sports. They know what it takes to win, and they know all that it takes behind the scenes that most people don't see, the day in, the day out, the grind, the stuff that's not as fun, but that gets you to the point that you get to get celebrated and you get to be part of something that's bigger than just yourself. So yeah, I love when I meet somebody, and if they were a high school athlete or a collegiate athlete, that definitely helps me figure out more about who they are and whether or not this is something that they would be successful in.
Our show today is brought to you by a new sponsor, Carter's Fried Chicken, located at 206 Tripp Street. They offer breakfast, lunch, and supper. Owner Mike Shadows and his staff support all of our local teams and have been feeding Southwest Georgia for more than 30 years. They offer daily lunch specials with chicken, pork chops, and vegetables, all for an affordable price. Carter's Fried Chicken is proud to be a 2025 sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. Paul, you've been here in Southwest Georgia for several years now. Your wife, Shannon, now owns a business here. For people that may be considering Southwest Georgia as a career move, what are some of the things that you and your family have found to be positive factors in this area? And in particular, I'm thinking about things like church and school and rec sports, but what are some of those things that keeps Paul and Shannon Blanchard in Sumter County?
Yeah, so we've been here for 12, almost 13 years now. At times it feels like we've just moved here, and then at times, it's all that my kids know as far as growing up. So this is home to them. I grew up in Pensacola, Florida. My wife grew up just outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We got married. We lived in Calhoun, Georgia for the first 7 years or 8 years, and then moved to South Georgia sight unseen. I was, had given the opportunity to take a management position. Shannon was working at the time and wanted to stay home with our 2 young kids, and this provided the opportunity. So we moved here pretty much sight unseen. And one of the first things that really grabbed us, and one of the things that still we are blessed with to this day, are the people in South Georgia and the people of Americus. A lot of times you hear when you're not from a small town that those towns can be cliquey, and if you didn't grow up there or if you didn't go to school there, that maybe it's a little bit harder to be a part of the community. But we have found that to be the furthest thing from the truth. We have friends that we've met here, people that we've met here that will be like, if something happened and we had to move tomorrow, we've got people here that we would be lifelong friends with for the rest of our lives, and as would our kids. So I think first and foremost, the people here are amazing.
Yeah.
And, we've gotten extremely involved and really, really a part of Central Baptist Church. I would say that even if you're moving to South Georgia or to Americus and it's not Central, there are a lot of great churches in Americus. We've attended services at First Baptist, at Cornerstone, and a couple other churches, all of them made up of great people that will do anything they can to help you. Our church in particular has a great kids program and a great youth program, a lot of things that you can do almost every day of the week. You can be involved at the church. We do a lot in the community. Our pastor, Brian Myers, does a phenomenal job. You can sit through any of his sermons, and it seems like every single sermon he's talking to you. He challenges you, and when you leave, he's giving you something to think about for not only for the day but for the week. So the people, the churches, and then just the sense of community that's here. If you get involved in something, it seems like there's so many people that come from every corner that want to help, not just cheering you on, but they want to know what they can do to help. And that's been huge for us. My wife started a photography business in 2016, 2017, and it started off really as just her wanting something to do and to make a little bit of money for herself. And here we are 8 years later, and her business is booming, and that's due to the people here in town. That anything that Shannon wants to do, they want to be a part of it, and they want to help her, and they want to help her succeed. So I think the people here are great.
Paul, when I was watching you on GPB during those football championships, I want you to know this. It really did bring a lot of pride to me as one of your friends, but also knowing that you've worked your way up to the point that you've become kind of the face of Alpha, at least in this area. That had to be something that your kids and your wife take a lot of pride in. Talk to me a little bit about the opportunity and what it meant to you both as a businessman and as a father.
Yeah. So it was a great opportunity to be at the Mercedes-Benz for all 3 days of it. A great opportunity being up on stage, presenting some of these teams with the trophies. Like I mentioned before, we lived in Calhoun, Georgia when we first got married. My wife was working at Calhoun High School. I had an agency in Calhoun. We had a lot of friends there. Friends that now have kids that are playing on the Calhoun High School football team. So to be able to be up on stage with some of the kids that are, children of the people that I know, and to present the trophy to a place where we, laid our roots originally, it was a lot of fun. So a lot of people were watching. Shannon was watching. The kids, I don't know if they were watching. I think Sterling they were gone that night. I think walk right football practice and something else going on. But as far as the pride with Shannon watching, she, when the interview was going on, I honestly didn't think that many people watched the times between there's 45 minutes between the games. I didn't know how many people were sitting at home or wherever they were watching the interviews in between. But come to find out, a lot. After walking off the stage, I grabbed my cell phone and I had 43 text messages, and every one of them to take a screenshot of the TV. So it was great. Shannon was receiving text messages, and she was forwarding them to me if somebody didn't put both of us on it. So she enjoyed it. She was getting a kick out of it. She was getting text messages from people that I didn't even know, but that knew her and knew that we were married. And so it was a lot of fun. Now the kids, on the other hand, they got to watch it, and your kids are your biggest critics. Instead of being like, "Dad, that was awesome. Dad, that was great. Dad, that was cool," they asked why I stuttered as much as I did. I think Christian told me that I was talking way too fast, and Walker may have said, "Why was it so short?" So maybe that's their way of showing pride in their dad. I don't know, but anyways, it was a lot of fun, and something that Shannon and I had got a lot of laughs out over the next couple of days.
We have been talking with Paul Blanchard from Alpha Insurance. One of the awkward things about this show today, Paul, is every week I go through our sponsorships, and one of our sponsors is in business a competitor, but I know he's a personal friend of yours, and that's Marty McDonald from the Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency. They're located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. You can drop by and see Marty, Mary Lynn, or any of their fine staff and let them discuss your insurance needs with you. You can reach them at 928-3686, or you can look them up on Facebook. Thanks again to Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance for sponsoring this segment of the Integrity Sports Podcast. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Paul, as we wrap this thing up today, the last question that I ask my guest each week is about their support network. Who are those family members and friends that keep you lifted up, that keep you encouraged when things kind of get tough? Who are those for Paul Blanchard?
First and foremost is Shannon, my wife. She's an amazing woman. I love just spending time with her, and that encourages me more than anything. I try to carve out, we make sure that we carve out at least 3 or 4 minutes every day at the end of the day where we just sit, we hug each other and really just sort of go silent for a second and I tell her that fills me up more than anything. Just those few minutes that as busy as we both are and as much editing as she does and with the kids, just that few minutes alone with her does more for me than just about anything anybody else can do. So obviously my kids, if I see them whenever we're walking through the house, Sterling's real good about always just walking up and giving me a hug and telling me thank you for everything, Dad. Christian, who is 13, used to do that a lot and then went through a little phase where maybe he was a little bit more hands off, but over the last year or so, he's become, a lot more affectionate and emotional with his dad. And then Walker being 9 is always just a positive light for me. My family's first. 2 people that come to mind in town that I speak with regularly and are always positive and encouraging. First is Coach Coombs. Coach and I, for the biggest part of the year, we're meeting every Friday morning and doing Bible study at Chick-fil-A along with a couple other men. But Coach is always positive. He's always asking what he can pray for. What can he do to pray for me? And he's an open book, at least with me. He's an open book about, hey, this is what I'm going through and this is what I need. And that's what guys need, is another guy that's going through what you're going through, that can share what they're going through, that can ask how can they help you. And Coach Coombs does a great job of that. And then another one is a friendship that I formed at the rec department years ago. John Mixon. We coached each other a couple seasons and then ran into each other on the golf course one day. Ended up playing golf, and since then we've become great friends. He is encouraging and he is hilarious. If maybe I'm not having the best day, I can call John. John's going to say something that's hilarious. He sends me text messages that are encouraging and hilarious, and he's just one that I enjoy spending time with. And anytime I spend with him, it's going to be fun, encouraging, and good.
Paul, this has been a lot of fun. I certainly appreciate your friendship. It's been really neat to see this platform that you've had the opportunity to get on here over the last couple of years with Alpha. I appreciate you coming on with me today, and we wish you continued success.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for having me.
And we want to thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Let me again thank all of our sponsors: Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, One Digital Solutions, Carter's Fried Chicken, and the Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency. Remember to like and share this video with your friends, and plan to join us again next week. For my friend Paul Blanchard, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching.